Reclaim your time. Time.
Welcome to AI Advocates. I'm Maggie Mosher.
Hi, I'm Lisa Dieker.
And today we're talking about classroom bots, the 24/7 teaching assistant.
24/7. Now, I love that because that means that I can go to sleep at night and the bot can still fix everything, Maggie.
No.
Okay.
But it at least means that I can train really well a helper for me so that I can get some things done faster as a student and as a teacher, which helps me in a lot of different ways.
So wait a minute. Now I want to get back up there. So should students have bots or should teachers have bots or can both have bots?
I think both should have bots.
Okay.
I think that they should be definitely specifically planned for who's going to be using the bots. So I think if it's a teacher bot, you get to really hone in on, here are my students, here's the age levels, here's what I need help with. Maybe I'm struggling with parent communication because I have a hostile parent. Maybe tell your bot that. Whereas if I'm a student, I'm going to want to tell my bot specific things I like, specific things I want it to help me to do, my strengths, my weaknesses. And I want to make sure that that bot that I'm using with the student is really safe.
Got it. Well, yeah. So speaking of safe bots, there's lots of things we're going to talk about in this one. We're going to talk a little bit about prompting because we think you got to learn to prompt your bot, but prompting in AI in general. Maggie's going to share her favorite top 10. And I'm going to share a couple of thoughts about bots in general. And one is that Maggie and I both kind of agree that we really just trust right now creating a bot for your classroom in either Magic School AI or Economigo. Not that there aren't other great bot creators out there. We just don't know if they're FERPA safe because, again, Economigo bot will only pull in what Lisa Dieker put in the bot. So if I put my, whatever reading series I have passage in that bot, it will only answer questions from that versus the 45 different flavors of that particular story that might be out there that have been rewritten in a rap song and in a, Shakespeare, in a video cartoon version. Like you want it to pull from what you want it to pull from. So a bot is of value, but a bot is only as good as what you put in it. So it's no different than if you're making a cake and you forget something, then it doesn't turn out to be a very good bot. So Maggie, thoughts on the bots? And then I'm going to share one specific bot I as a good example that teachers might want to count on.
Yeah, so what I would teach students is when you're looking at creating bots, you want to put in certain things. Like you want to put in, okay, this is the output I want always. You want to know what the output is. You want to know where the output is going. So like if I'm doing this for kindergarten, I want to put in these are kindergarten students. This is their reading level. I want to put in the tone I want. I want it to be friendly, upbeat. I want it to be motivating. I want to put in the space and place. So I only want it to be 10 minutes, 15 minutes.
And if you're a middle school teacher, you want it to be mean and not nice. No, just kidding. Just kidding.
And then I also think it's really important, though, with that is to teach students. Sometimes I have students who like to make their bots sarcastic.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, well, there's a place for sarcasm for your bot if you are not sharing that bot information, but I don't want a sarcastic bot. Which is nice thing about Magic School AI when they create their bots there is they can't create a bot that is going to harm them in any way. They can't create a bot that uses any inappropriate language. So even though they can try to trick the bot won't come up with the wrong thing. It'll just tell you, I'm not actually trained to do these things. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of nice. So you know it's going to be safe. I also think with the bot, making sure that you give them some ideas on, like we said, those simple codes like ELI, explain this as. I also like the code adopt a persona. So it's ACT. And essentially, I can make it adopt the persona of a professor or adopt the persona of a sixth grader training all of the other students in the room. So I want to be still cool, but I don't want to be too professional. So I'm going to adopt the persona of that. Or I can also click control the format. So I want the format to all be bullet points. I don't want anything else. So control that format to just be bullet points. Pros and cons. Or POV, I like is get a different point of view. So this is what I think I should say. But what's a POV? What's a different point of view?
And that's POV as in Victor. Just so, okay.
POV. So, yeah. And then make it show its work sometimes. If you put in the word think as your specific title, it'll show all the work that came behind coming up with that idea.
So let me clarify. So I'm a teacher, and if I just put think, it'll think for me. If I put POV, it'll tell me its point of view. If I put ELI, it'll explain like I'm 6 or whatever. So what you're saying to me to save me time is I don't need to type a whole bunch of things. If I can learn some of these basic prompts, which we could put on our website with the podcast. So yeah.
And then also remembering students aren't going to learn to be amazing prompters right off the bat. So using things like Magic School has a prompt generator. So you can put in just the few words you want and click the generate, and it will regenerate a correct prompt or a prompt it thinks that you're really looking for. And then it'll tell you how it changed it. So I made this prompt more specific to your population, more specific to your time frame. And it'll help them to get to know how to prompt specifically their chatbot.
And, I have no evidence-based research. So for those listening, don't come back and get me for this. But I really am convinced great prompters are going to be great future writers. Because I know that my ability to prompt is off the charts now, and my ability to write is much clearer and much more succinct. Grammarly gives me like an award every week. And I'm like, it's just because I've gotten really good at thinking like an AI agent. And I think that could be really powerful. Well, one other bot that we will actually highlight too on our website that we just want to mention as an example that you might consider using if you're a school leader or you have like a intervention assistance team and you want them to have specific research that they're always tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 using, is Tiffany Zaug at the University of Central Florida for her dissertation created an EL bot. And she took all the best practices in differentiating and then put those into a bot. So if you write your lesson plans using her bot, it will choose not just differentiated ideas, but it will choose evidence-based differentiated ideas. And I think that's what you really want to think about is there are lots of bots out there that can give you advice, but the bot on the sales site is trying to give you advice to buy something. So don't trust a bot unless you know the sources the bot's been trained. And I think that's really important to consider. So last thoughts from you, Maggie.
Yeah, the last thing I would add is you as an educator might create your bots in some place like Poe, where it's easy to create a bot and you can choose what the base of it is, like Chat GPT, or I want Gemini, or I want Llama for DALL-E for pictures. So I can choose a basic chatbot or a visual chatbot. And that's okay for me as an educator because I'm not going to be putting in information and I don't care about the source as much as I care about how fast the content is and how good the content is. That's great. And it's easy. You just follow the prompts. But the reason I say students should do it at the Magic School is because it specifically won't, like you said, give them misinformation, or an L, because it also won't give misinformation. And when they're putting in those specific pieces of each of their prompts, I do like that it will help guide them to a different chatbot if it's the wrong bot. So for example, there's a character chatbot. And if you made this custom bot and it's not really good at talking to you like a different character in a book, it'll say, have you tried the character bot? I think as educators, we need to do the same thing for our co-teachers and say, have you tried that math teacher bot that he created in Poe? Because there's a great math teacher bot that was created by this teacher in Nebraska. So helping each other kind of know where are those go-to places where we can talk to some of the best for what they do.
And say what? Oh, yeah, time. So, well, thanks for joining us. We hope you enjoyed this discussion on bots and prompting.